You are now experiencing the digital life with Kevin Lockett.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Digital Life. I am your host, Kevin Lockett. Now today is my very first podcast. Yay! You're the man. I know. I'm so wonderful. Okay, so this is my very first podcast, and so I'm going to have a lot of fun with it. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. By day, I'm a social media guy. I teach social media. I help people with social media campaigns. I've been doing this since 2008. But my real passion in life is popular culture. I was that kid who used to wake up every Sunday morning to write down Casey Kasem's top 40 from 40 to 1. And in fact, if I missed one, like if I had 39 to 1, I was done for the rest of the day. And my mom would say, "What's wrong with you?" It's like, "I missed number 40. And she said, "Get yourself together. Let's go to grandma's house." But I was that kid. I'm so consumed by it. Yeah, I watch Glee. I watch the NFL. I'm listening to podcasts. I'm listening to radio. I do all this stuff because it's like breathing to me. Which brings me to my first guest today, Leah Haslage. And Leah is a host on TV 20, which is the city of Cleveland's TV station. It's real cool. Now, the reason she's my first guest was the fact that Leah is like my pop culture wifey. You know how you have that office wife or office husband where they're not your spouse, but you get along really well? That's Leah to me. She's like my pop culture female equivalent in Cleveland. She's a great media host. She has a wonderful story. So without further ado, let's talk to my pop culture wifey, Leah Haslage.
Okay, everybody, we're talking to the lovely Leah. Leah, how are you doing today?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Well, this is a very groundbreaking episode because it's not only episode number 1, but it's the first time that you and I actually chatted, and it's completely my fault.
I know. This is your very first episode?
This is my very first episode.
I love being the first, Kevin.
I'm sure you do. I apologize. You know, it sounds kind of strange because you and I have always Facebooked each other and we tweet each other.
I know.
And you've tried constantly to get me to Cleveland, and I've been here in Akron doing God knows what.
Yeah, what do you do in Akron?
You know what?
Akron. I'm in Cleveland.
There's no excuse necessary. There's no excuse for me not being in Cleveland when you've invited me. But I promise, as the temperature is becoming warmer and warmer, I shall be up there a little bit more often than I have in the past few months.
Perfect.
I did like the day that you thought you saw me. So like another dude.
Oh my gosh. I was at Southside in Tremont, which is one of my favorite Cleveland restaurants. And I was up there with just a friend of mine from high school. And I swear I thought it was you next to me. And I go, "Kevin?" And the guy goes, "Yeah." And pretended like he was you. And I was like, but the whole time I'm like, I don't think this really is Kevin. And so that's why I had to tweet you. And it was not you.
Wait. This guy actually said, "Yeah," when you asked him, Kevin?
Yes. But, like, he looked like you, but I wasn't convinced it was you. So I was really confused.
Man, I'm sure. Yeah, if I was him, I was like, "Yeah, I'm Kevin. Yeah, why not?"
Yeah, I was totally hanging through doppelganger.
Oh.
He's not as cool.
I got to find that guy.
I know.
So let's get started. We'll talk about that later. Tell me about TV 20. TV 20 Cleveland, which I think is a fantastic thing. I wish Akron had its own TV station. I wish most cities had their own TV station, but because of budgets, they can't do it. But tell me about TV 20 Cleveland.
TV 20 Cleveland is a City of Cleveland government station. So basically public access. We're run through Time Warner Cable in the City of Cleveland. We reach 85,000 homes on average. And we're not live except for when our city council meetings happen, which is very cool to watch if you love politics, if you're like me, if you're nerdy like that, and hear what their budget. Like this past week, we had the budget hearings all day, every day, live on TV. So if you want to know what's going to go on and who's going to get funding, who's going to get cut, and so forth, we have things like that. But then also, because we're not live and we can produce really good pieces, we have awesome shows like Listen Up Cleveland and the 60-Day Weight Loss Challenge, which I co-host. I'll be hosting next season as well. And that's just being Cleveland employees that are like Biggest Loser contestants and competing. And it's great because you know these people. You see them out. They are the guys that that fix your streets and are your local police and stuff like that. It's really fun. It's a really great station. And because I'm doing social media for the station as well, I'm trying to make it reach even more homes so people can really see how awesome Cleveland is and what we have to offer.
Right. So tell me about the weight loss challenge. So how do you find your contestants for that?
They, Kathy Allen, my boss, she's general manager of TV20. She puts out an email when we're getting ready for casting, because obviously being a City and Cleveland employees, she has access to a full blast to everybody, saying, hey, we're looking for our next contestants, and just kind of goes from there. Sees who's really serious about it. We can only pick so many, obviously, but yeah, it's just a simple, check your email listings if you're a City of Cleveland employee, and that's just how it's really simple like that. And luckily, last season, which was my first season with the show, season 5, not a lot of people end up dropping out in the end, because I guess in seasons prior, it's kind of up and down, who can take it, who can't. Like anything else, like anybody else dieting, in life. But we had a really good group, and I made some really great new City of Cleveland employee friends. And I encourage you guys to check it out. If you just go to cityofcleveland.com, you can watch us live, or you go to my blog, lifewithleah.com, you can see the link to watch our online stream. And you can look at past episodes of the 60-day weight loss challenge, which was originally 90-day, and we're going back to 90 days to season 6.
Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that it was first 90 days and then it went down to 60 days. Was it because the contestants didn't have enough time for the 90 days, or?
No, season 5, this is the first time, because it fell taping-wise leading to the holiday season. We figured make it 60 days, that way it would air, the finale would be around Christmas and all that, but then everyone was on such a roll and so inspired that we decided to offer an extension, and they all want to do it, so we went back to 90 days. It was kind of like a last-minute thing, so it took them to do the challenges during the holidays instead of leading up to the holidays, basically, which is the biggest challenge of them all. I mean, who doesn't want to pass up Grandma's, cake?
I do love Grandma's cake, I do.
Right? So it made it more fun, though, because of seeing them going through all that.
What's your favorite cake?
Mine is this awesome, coconut cream cheesecake that my great Aunt Bet in North Carolina makes. That's my favorite.
Yeah, mine is this, my grandma used to make this caramel cake, and it's just it was like a 3-layer cake, and it was just caramel mixed in. So it was
oh.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, she's passed away, so I miss it very much. It's
You need to get that recipe and carry it on, Kev.
Well, I made sure before she passed away, I got a lot of recipes. I'm gonna try icebox pie, which basically is vanilla wafers and condensed milk and some lemony stuff. So I'm gonna try to do that this year.
All right, now I'm getting my sweet tooth going.
Yeah. So with the weight loss challenge, what was the most weight lost in your season?
Ron Gerard won it, and he lost 38.6 pounds.
Wow, that's amazing.
In the second place, John Verhouse, they were neck and neck the entire season. They had a good, healthy competition going. It was fun to see them every week. Who's gonna win it? And John had lost 38. So literally, Ron beat him by 0.6.
So would there be a betting line at the Horseshoe Casino? It's like a bet on people who will lose the most weight?
If you don't do it at home, that would be fun and fun. I cannot promote gambling.
I know. I'm just trying to help the economy. That's all I'm trying to do.
Exactly, right? But
so
I think it'd be fun, though. Having a watch party would be awesome.
It would be awesome. So how did you get involved with TV20 Cleveland?
I was going to school at Ohio Center for Broadcasting in the end of 2011, and my dear friend Rudy Patrick Longbrick, who freelanced for TV20 for years as a cameraman and editor, knew of an opening. They were looking for a new host and reporter that would freelance. He recommended me, and I submitted my stuff to my now boss Kathy Allen, and she loved it. And actually, this Sunday, after Sunday, will mark my 1-year anniversary with the company, because my very first freelance reporting job was the Road to the Red Carpet event at Pickles and Frolic in downtown Cleveland, which is a big after night event that the proceeds from the tickets go towards the Cleveland Film Commission. which is, they're the people that help get the Avengers in town and provide all that kind of stuff. And it's a really great event. But I'm covering it again tomorrow, and I'll mark my 1 year.
Wow.
It's been great.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. But, yeah, it was perfect because freelancing while I was in school and bartending on the weekends and going through all that, interning, it was a perfect segue. And then when I graduated in August of last year, 2012, they made me full-time in September. And so it's been awesome.
So what's your classic Leah drink? So if I don't drink, but if I did, what would you make for me?
Oh, see, that's hard because it just kind of depends on the person and their mood and all that. And I never found myself to be a mixologist. I was much more the shot and beer kind of bartender. I have friends that are really big on crafting, and I give them so much credit. Like, that is an art, the muddling and using, fresh ingredients and all. I do not have that knack. Like, I'd rather just make you a margarita on the rocks or Long Island and call it a day.
Well, I mean, that is a skill because, I mean, the bar is so loud. You're getting so many different orders. People are yelling. So the ability to get the order, make the drink, get it right, and keep the customer happy is very difficult.
Yeah, it's not an easy job whatsoever. People think it is, and it's not. But yeah, like me as a drinker, I don't really drink. I'll try a crafted cocktail at a lot of places just to have one and kind of see what they've infused and stuff. But at the end of the day, I'd rather just have a Crown and Ginger or a beer or a glass of wine and chill.
Yeah, I got my Sierra Mist. I'll just sit back and watch the fun unfold.
That's good, though. That's good.
Okay, I was checking your blog, Life of Leah, and there was a point right before you went to the Ohio Broadcasting School where you felt like that you needed to change things.
Yeah.
I know you felt like you were getting older and you had to do something, but was that the main issue? I mean, you just felt like, I need to do this. It's all or nothing because I don't want to have any regrets. I mean, is that how it went?
Actually, it was very kind of serendipitous how I ended up going back to school. It had been weighing on me for a few years, and actually I saw a psychic, which I think I put that in the blog, I can't remember. I'd seen a psychic years ago, and she saw me going back to school. And so I just went on my mind, because I dropped out years ago, and I was like, I don't know, like I really miss TV, and I really want to do TV, and acting just wasn't fulfilling, this passion. I love acting, but there's something was missing. And I had gone through a relationship with a man that in the industry, but not TV, outside of TV, but still media. And at the time when I was dating him, I was bartending, and he kind of made me feel like I couldn't do it. Like I couldn't go back and do it, and I don't know. Long story short, we broke up, and I started doing 3 Olives vodka promotions. My dear friend was actually my boss. And so months after I broke up with him and school had been weighing on my head, I had to run to the mall to grab a article of clothing for my costume, because we wore costumes for 3 Olives. And as I was walking out of the store, it was the weirdest thing. Like, I had nothing in particular on my mind, just walking out of the store, and all of a sudden this thing hit me saying, you need to go back, you need to be in broadcast, that's where you're meant to be. It just hit. I know it sounds so weird, but it's just one of those epiphanies that just hits you. So fast forward later that day, I get in the car to go out and do a promotion, and my best friend was driving the car, my boss, and she's like, don't be mad at me. Because I sat in my chair, and I'm like, what did you do? And she was like, I pretend to be you and signed up to get you information for Ohio Center for Broadcasting because I really feel like you should be doing that. And I was like, that's the weirdest thing ever, Jess, because literally this morning I had this premonition, and they got the info, I toured it, and it just felt right. And it's like one of those things where when you fall into the right place where you're meant to be in life, it's like this domino effect. Everything just started happening. I landed internships in radio and TV right away, and everything just started kind of coming to me that I may have subconsciously pushed away for years, and I finally found my place. That's all it kind of fell about.
So why did you push it away? Because you're pretty. from our conversations of what I've seen, I mean, you're a natural. I mean, you love popular culture and you love media. So it seems like a perfect fit. Why did you push it away? Because it seems like, because I totally understand. I totally get it. But why did you push it away?
The thing is, like, years ago, I grew up, when I was a kid, I did not like playing teacher and doctor. I played Oprah and Murphy Brown. Like, I would interview my mom at the kitchen table. It's been in me forever. But I also did theater, and I loved acting. I really wanted to, you know, be an Oscar nominee myself and all this stuff. But, you know, throughout the years, like in high school, I did the morning show, WVSH, and then in my first round of college, I went to Tri-C. I went in originally as a journalism major with a minor in theater and poli-sci. But my journalism professors there just turned me off so much from journalism. They were the old, stodgy, women still belong type, and I wasn't really learning from them, so it kept pushing me away in that sense, kept turning me off, and I fell into theater, and I fell in love with theater even more than I, you know, grew up having. And so I kind of put all my energy in that. And then in 2004, I had won a contest that MTV and Cox Cable was doing to be the next Choose or Lose news correspondent, because obviously 2004 was an election year. And so I won it. They flew me to New York. I trained at MTV Studios for a week, came back, and got to do my own segment on Hometown Highlights on Cox Cable every month until after the election was over. And I loved it. I loved getting to finally be in TV and all that, but at the same time, like, there were certain politics that I just didn't understand at the time as far as TV goes. Like, I could cover the Bush rally, but I couldn't cover, who was at the time, Kerry. And, you know, I couldn't cover the VP debates, but they were sending me to try to see for the councilman or whatever election, but no one was there because they were all the VP debates. There's just certain things that I was just like, I don't know if I'm cut out for this. I'm too brash. I'm too independent. I don't like being told what I can and can't cover. And that's not on them. I mean, they were just doing their job. But I was 21. I was so young, so kind of naive, kind of, I don't know. And every time I thought about journalism school elsewhere, I would get reminded by my mom, like, you know, when you get your start, like, even Oprah had to go out to Iowa and report about the corn shuckings and all this. I was like, I don't want to do that. I just kept fighting it. Like, I don't want to have to go where I don't want to be. And they're like, well, that's how you get your start. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So eventually I just dropped out and I just acted. I was an actress and modeled locally. Nothing huge, but I got work and bartended and just lived my life. I lived my crazy 20s with my friends and I was in a relationship for a while and, you know, as a musician, and it was just fun. I just had fun and kind of just put it out of my head I was just going to be an actress, and I was just bartending, and then until I had that premonition, everything was kind of cut and hit, and I just had that change. You know, as I said, subconsciously, I think I just pushed it away because I want to do what I want to do, and which is so stubborn and ridiculous, but it all ended up working out, luckily, in the end.
And it has worked out because now you have your own show, Listen Up Cleveland, you know.
Right, which I don't feel like I could be the reporter and host I am now if I hadn't pushed it away and gone through all that stuff, because if I had been in school and my path had gone, you know, a different direction, I wouldn't know all the local musicians I know and designers to contribute to my show now, and I wouldn't have all this life experience behind me, because I think as much as you do, I think education is important and you learn so much in school. Nothing beats life experience.
No, you're right. Because I see people all the time. I always look at rush hour, and I see how people just speed their way out of their jobs around 4:30. And, you know, people got to work, and, you know, sometimes you can't do what you love. You guys got to pay the bills.
Right, exactly.
But when you do find people who love their job, I mean, they're there till like midnight or 11 o'clock. It's not even work to them. And I know everybody can't have that, but, you know, I always tell kids all the time, if there's something that you love to do, even if you take a detour, always keep an eye on it. Even try to do it part-time or even as a hobby, but always try to sharpen your skills in that, because you don't know when that opportunity is going to come about.
Exactly. And it's like that saying goes, that famous quote where, I might butcher it, but when you're doing what you love, you never are working, or you never work a day in your life. I'm talking about that quote, because
Right.
that's how it feels. Like, I don't feel like I'm working 24/7, technically, but I love what I do. I love media. I love broadcast. I love getting to meet people and know people and learn about people. And social media, while it can be the devil, it can be obnoxious, at the same time, it's such a blessing and such a great way to connect with people. Like you, like, who is to say we would have met, you know, up here in Cleveland or down in Akron at some point, but because of social media, we've got to know each other, which is amazing. It's awesome.
Well, the intro to the show, you'll hear it, but I was saying how the only reason we connected on Facebook because it was like a friend of somebody, and I saw wrote something. I forgot what she wrote, and I was like, oh, I think she has a little pop culture slant to her. Let me check this out, because I didn't know you. I had no idea who you were, and then you befriended me, and you know, and we started, you know, talking to each other. I mean, typing each other. But
right.
But yeah, that would have never happened because of social media. And the one thing I do like what you do is that you promote other like photographers and different businesses around the area, which I think, which is the positive thing about social media, is that you're able to recommend businesses, photographers, fashion designers to people who otherwise might not know who they are.
Right. Yeah, and I love promoting I have a lot of really talented friends in all different businesses, and I love just being able to promote them. You know, I think it's important. I think you have to share the love.
So tell me about Listen Up Cleveland. Listen Up Cleveland seems like a fun show. You know, you look very happy. From what I've seen, it looks pretty cool. So tell me about it.
Listen Up Cleveland. It's my very first show, brand new, brand TV 20, and I focus on music and fashion in the city of Cleveland. So the first part is a half-hour show. The first part, I have a musical guest or someone in the industry in the studio, and then the second part, I'm at a clothing store, design studio, you know, stuff like that, focusing on the latest in fashions in Cleveland and where you can go shop and find stuff. Because we have so much great stuff here in Cleveland, a lot of talent, and I'm blessed that I get to cover it. I get to do my thing. My boss, Kathy Allen, she really entrusted me with this. And this has been in the making, I could easily say almost 30 years because I wanted my own show forever. But she originally told me I could have my own show a month into me freelancing there, so last March. So this has been almost a year in the making. And but it wasn't until I got full-time that I got to really put everything together. And the set you see, it's all my baby. And it's just all my concepts. But luckily, I have Rudy and Henry behind me as well, creating and editing and you know, getting everything together for me. I can't thank them enough. And then my friend Dave Brooks, he and Freddie DeMarco put together my theme song. I called Dave the second I found out I could have my own show, and I was like, "Will you please make my theme song for me?" And within a night, he had it. Like, he just jumped on it, and it's fun. It's very, very mellow and cool. So yeah, so you guys check it out. It's this episode right now, episode 1, will continue to run tonight at 7 p.m. and tomorrow Sunday at 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. You can go to lifewithleah.com to get that link, that blog link, to go directly to the online stream. And then episode 2 will premiere in a couple weeks.
And how many episodes is it for the first season? Or do you do
I'll have 6 in all.
Okay.
I'll have 6 episodes. Because then we'll set the Weight Loss Challenge season 6. So.
Yeah, you're pulling double duty.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Season 6 is going to be a really good season. I don't want to give any spoilers away yet, so stay tuned. But it's going to be even better than the last.
Spoilers, like Joan Collins is going to pop up in there. Oh my God, it's Joan Collins. What is she doing on the Weight Loss Challenge?
Oh, I love it. I wish. I so wish. Actually, I want to see Joan Collins on Dancing with the Stars.
I think she would be an interesting character. You know, she probably wouldn't listen to anybody. She probably
that's the best part. That's where TV comes in. That's the best part.
Would she be Joan Collins, or would she be a Larrington character, Dexter Colby, Dexter Carrington Lockett?
Well, if we can't get Joan Collins, can we at least get the other one, the blonde? I'm going blank on her name. She dated Yanni forever.
Oh, you mean Crystal?
Yeah, I can't think of her name in real life though. She's still phenomenal.
Because we haven't seen her in a long time. I saw an interview with Michael Simon, and he said chefs come into town to see him. He always takes them to the West Side Market.
Mm-hmm.
To show him, is like, hey, I want to show you that Cleveland's not what you think it is. What makes Cleveland special?
It's all of it. Like, I grew up in South Village, which is about 10 minutes from downtown, south of downtown. And I remember being in the upstairs window in the back of the house, watching Key Tower being built. And up until then, Terminal Tower had been the tallest building in Cleveland. And we're crying, going, how could they make something bigger than Terminal Tower? I just loved our skyline. And now I see, the beauty of Key Tower being added to it. There's something comforting about Cleveland, and probably because I grew up in it. But there's so many, independent restaurants, and we're such hard workers. Like, I grew up by the steel mills, so I saw when Steelyard wasn't the shopping centers and all that it is now. It really was, all the steel workers and LTV and all that. Like, I feel like Cleveland is just so raw, and clearly we're loyalists because we're Browns fans. I mean, it doesn't get more loyal than that.
I'm pretty loyal.
That's the thing. Like, Cleveland to me it's a city that isn't really always. It hasn't been reinventing itself till recently. We're not really a city of reinvention, but we are a city of strength. We've gone through the ups and downs. We've gone through being called a mistake on the lake, but it's home. It's our roots. And things like the West Side Market, which has been around for 100 years now and has provided so much in food for our city and for the people. It supplies it for many of the independent restaurants that we eat at. Things like Tower City, which luckily the Horseshoe Casino got put in with it, which is helping, give that resurgence. But there's so much beautiful architecture. Like, I can't pinpoint one thing about Cleveland. It's just Cleveland is, to me, it's my Terra and I am Scarlet, and so I feel the roots underneath my feet. So I just love it, period. Like, I can't pinpoint one thing about it. It's just, get your butts up here and visit. See for yourself why it's so awesome.
I like how you threw in a pop culture reference with Terra and Gone with the Wind.
That's how I've always felt about it. Like, I've said that exact statement about Cleveland since I was little. Like, when Cleveland wasn't considered cool, like, even Clevelanders weren't loving it like they are now. Like, everyone loves Cleveland now. But I remember, 20 years ago, when everyone was dissing Cleveland, like, wanted to leave, and they couldn't wait to get out, and it was just gritty and, blah, blah, blah. I loved Cleveland when Cleveland wasn't cool, and I'm so happy to see that everyone loves it the way they should and do now. But I always said since I was little that I always identify as Scarlett O'Hara in that sense. And Gone with the Wind, which is my favorite movie of all time, that and Forrest Gump. But I felt like my Terra is Cleveland. I left it. I moved to New York City in 2006. I had an opportunity to move with a girlfriend of mine. So on a whim, I just up and moved for 3 months there. And I missed Cleveland the whole time. And this is before Cleveland really started becoming what it is now, right before it. I remember walking around New York City and going through all the gift shops and seeing all the I Heart New York stuff and all that, and just going, why don't we have this in Cleveland? We East Siders won't go West Side, West Siders won't go East Side, just like here in New York. People live South that want to go downtown, downtown doesn't want to go South, just like in Manhattan. And screw Empire State Building, our Terminal Tower is gorgeous and important. And so I had made a promise to myself that when I moved back, because I knew like a month into being in New York City, I was not meant to stay in New York City. I missed my Cleveland too much. And but I made a promise to myself that when I came back, even though I knew Cleveland, like I felt like the back of my hand, I was going to make sure I knew it, and I was just going to envelop myself into it. And then ironically enough, when I moved back, I went back to bartending and acting, and I started falling into everything without even trying. I ended up, working for the cab and like hearing monsters and doing presentations, which then led to me arena hosting for the Gladiators. I started working at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame Museum and membership. I started acting as a patient for year 1 and 2 medical students at Cleveland Clinic. So without even really trying, that thought I had in New York where I was going to envelop myself actually ended up happening, where I started working for pretty much everything in Cleveland and getting to see how Cleveland redeveloped and revamped and became everything I wanted it to be when I was walking through those New York City gift shops going, why don't we have all these T-shirts that say, I heart Cleveland, I love Cleveland? And now we do. And stay tuned for episode 4 of Listen Up Cleveland, where I show you Cleveland Clothing Company. I don't know. I love Cleveland, and I knew I was meant to be here. And that's why it's kind of like the cherry on top where I'm working for the city of Cleveland government now as a reporter. I'm doing what I love, and I'm doing it for the city. So it's kind of like everything came full circle.
Well, being from Akron, the one thing I always loved about Cleveland, there's 3 sports teams. You have theater. You have cool places to eat. I mean, it's not as bad as people make it out to be. And usually when people say that, it's like they've never been to Cleveland. Like they go by the mistake on the lake. They go by, maybe they were in town for a second, it was raining or it was gray. I mean, yeah, I love sunshine. I hate the gray. I hate the gray of Ohio. I love sun. I think the wintertime depresses me because I love the sun so much. However, the summertime and the springtime in Cleveland is just fantastic. I mean, and I don't think people really give it the credit it deserves. And again, yeah, they had to rebuild. You know, it was a slow rebuild. It's a slow build, and it's still rebuilding. But still, like, I think when people do spend time in this area, and I'm going to include Akron in this too, when they do spend time in Northeast Ohio, they get a sense of, you know what, it's not really a bad place. It's a good place to raise a family. You know, there's things to do. Yeah, it's not New York. It's not Miami. It's not, you know, it's not L.A., but what is? You know, we have a lot more in this area that people give us credit for. You know, it's just I don't think people just, they don't give it a chance.
Yeah, I kind of like that we're underrated, though, because it keeps my rent down. But the thing with the gray skies, yeah, it sucks. I hate winter. If you're a winter fan, though, there's so much to do in Cleveland. There's Brandywine, there's skiing, if you are a winter fan. I'm not, but I will take our winters over the earthquakes of Cali and the constant hurricane watches of Florida. And, you know, there's some positive to it. And it makes you appreciate the spring summers here more when you can go to the Metro Park. I mean, our Metro Park system is beyond one of the coolest things ever. There's so much you can do, hiking, biking, all of it. And you had mentioned our restaurants. Our restaurants, Cleveland was listed in the top 3 with Travel Major Magazine for both theaters and our restaurants, both of them. And then just this past week, I don't know if you saw Kevin online, you may have, but 3 of our chefs, Michael Simon, Jonathan Sawyer, and Zach Burrell, who I love and adore all of them. I think they're so great, and their restaurants are fabulous. They are all James Beard nominees this year. They all got ranked for top, you know, chef of the year. And it's just such a testament to the talent that we have here. Yeah, our sports teams are up and down, but guess what? Not every team is going to win every year. Yes, it's been a long time. Yes, we haven't done the Super Bowl, but we're going to get there. If the Aints can do it, we can do it. Cavs had their glory days, and they're doing great again now with Kyrie Irving. Mm-hmm. He's really bringing us back. I'm not fond of the talk of now LeBron sees how great Kyrie is, and now he wants to come back from Miami. I'm still very bitter. Like, everyone tells me to get over it. I'm not going to get over it.
I know.
You dumped us on national television. He's like that awful ex-boyfriend. He is that ex-boyfriend that dumped you on national television, said, hey, that grass is green on the other side. I'm going to put a ring on somebody else. And then when that didn't pan out and go the way they thought it was going to go, they want to come back and think that you're just going to forgive them and it's going to be all hunky-dory. No. Don't want to take you back. Go play elsewhere.
So why should people tune in to watch TV 20 Cleveland?
TV 20, our motto is We Are Cleveland. And we focus on the important issues going on within our government, and then we also have the fun, like with Listen Up Cleveland. Sierra Nelson, one of our reporters, she has Sierra Connects. Christian Patterson has the Inside Sports Report. So there's fun stuff on our station as well. But tune in if you really want to see what's going on with the city of Cleveland, with our government and how we're rebuilding and all the economic development and all that stuff that I love, you know. It's just something you're not always going to get on the network TV stations where everything's kind of, you know, fast-paced and live, but at least us, we run the same programming all week. So if you happen to miss it today, you have a chance tomorrow. And
finally, what gadgets do you use on a regular basis, professionally or personally?
I would crumble and die if I did not have my cell phone. And I know it sounds very obnoxious or first world of me, but I really couldn't. It's my internet, it's my news, it's my connection to the people I love. That is my number one gadget. Other than that, I don't think I really have any other gadgets that I have to have, you know.
What type of cell phone do you have?
Oh, I'm an iPhone girl. I'm totally Apple. Yeah. And then the next month, hopefully, I'll be getting the 5 when I can get my upgrade.
What did you have prior to the iPhone? What did you use before?
Was there life before iPhone? Seriously. I think the phone before iPhone I had was my Blackjack. It was like the AT&T version of BlackBerry. It was like another form of BlackBerry. I had a Blackjack for a while, which I thought was the greatest thing ever until iPhone came out.
Yeah, so that move when you went from the Blackjack to the
I was
iPhone.
scared because I was like, I don't know if I can do this touch screen. What if I lose everything? And then I fell in love with it. And I have lost all my contacts and pictures at one point when I didn't know how to sync my phone to my computer a little over a year ago. So once you lose everything in your phone, you just learn that you move on. It's not as scary anymore. But now I can't imagine not having a touch screen, not having an iPhone, you know. I had Blackjack. I mean, I remember my very first phone wasn't quite the Zach Morris phone, but I had the little blue Nokia.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah. I was like 18 or 19. I graduated from high school before I got my first cell phone. I wasn't allowed to have one before that. I had to be, you know, working enough to pay the bill, and I wasn't just going to be handed a phone or a pager. I was not allowed to have a pager either.
Yeah, Sky Pager, that was funny. I went through a thing recently where I had to ship my Android back, and I actually went through withdrawal symptoms. Like I was reaching for something that wasn't there. Because you know me, because I'm constantly tweeting about stuff or looking up at So I was like, let me tweet this. I'll reach for something. And I was like, there's nothing but air. And I had
Do you ever go, where's my phone, and it's in your hand the whole time? Because I've done it so many times, it's sick.
No, I'm not that bad.
I put my phone. Where is my phone? It's in my hand. Like I think my phone is actually becoming melded into my palm. Like I think it's part of me now.
See, that's why I need to come to Cleveland and look at your hand, because it probably is a big imprint with a big eye on it.
It is. It is.
All right, Leah. Well, thank you for the conversation.
Thank you, Kevin. I've had so much fun doing this.
I did too. Ladies and gentlemen, I do promise that I will be going to Cleveland more often in the springtime and the summer. So tweet me at Kevin Lockett and ask me did I keep my promise.
I will hold you to it.
I'm sure you will.
You have to see my Drake impression in person.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, she promised me that she would do a Drake impersonation. Now,
yeah, it's my Christmas present to him.
It's my Christmas present to me, which is kind of interesting and scary at the same time. But I will let you know how that actually turned out.
Maybe we'll videotape it.
We should.
I can embarrass myself for your show.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, Leah.
Thanks, Kevin. Bye, guys.
That was pretty cool, right? I'd like to thank my very first guest, Leah Haslage, for being on The Digital Life with Kevin Lockett. Now, the funny thing is, in the middle of our conversation, Leah asked me, I have a pop culture question for you. And we talked about pop culture for 45 minutes. And it was so good, there will be a part 2 of this down the road. We went back and forth on everything, LeBron, and you heard a little bit of the Joan Collins thing. It's just real cool. So I enjoy talking to Leah. If you want to learn more about TV20 Cleveland, check out their Facebook page. If you want to learn more about Leah, check out her blog, Life of Leah, which basically is like the Lake Erie version of Sex and the City, because there's music and fashion, and she talks about her life. Is really cool from a female perspective of what women go through in the media world. All right. So if you want to connect with me, reach out to me at Kevin Lockett. That's KevinLockett on Twitter. Check out my pop culture blog, soul88.com. And you can check out my social media stuff at kevinlockett.com. That's KevinLockett.com. Now I want to leave a question with you. As you can tell, Leah loves the city of Cleveland. She's like the ambassador of Cleveland. reach out to me on Twitter or make a comment below and tell me what makes your city so special. If you're going on Twitter, use hashtag #MyCity. That's hashtag #MyCity. And tell me what makes your city so special. So reach out to me. I'm Kevin Lockett. This is The Digital Life. I'm out.
The Digital Life with Kevin Lockett.